Hi, guys. Let's talk about Portia's Family Matter, Season 1, Episode 5. Messy, 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 messy and messy Cole. Spilling the tequila. So, we start off with a morning yoga session. And the two biggest things that I took away from this scene was, once again, no Porsha and Simon showing up. Barely anybody showed up. So I don't understand what's the purpose of this. Is Lauren not trying to get these people together? Is production not trying to get these people together? I don't understand why they keep having these activities, but the main people that need to be there are not there. The other thing that I noticed, what did y'all think about, or did anybody notice Dennis making that little sly comment about Porsha being lazy in bed? I was like, was that really necessary? I mean, if you think about it, Porsha stuck beside him through cheating on her when she was pregnant, allegations. Y'all remember those rumors last year about the allegations of him with animals. She stuck by him through that. And then him getting caught out with other women while they were supposed to be back together. So I was like, she wasn't talking bad about him at that time. Now, granted, she has recently. We saw the social media post last week. But up until then, she had not been talking down on him. So I don't know. That just didn't sit right with me. But anyway, after that, after the yoga session, Dennis pulled everybody to the side so they can discuss, and which rightfully so, he went to talk to Lauren about Porsha and Simon not showing up when they were supposed to be there to work on blending the family. So he told Lauren that she really needs to hold Porsha account, mentioned that everybody likes to kiss Porsha's butt, and also mentioned, which I thought was interesting, that he thinks Simon sees Porsha as a celebrity. I've known on social media some people have said that they think that he's clout chasing with Porsha. What do y'all think about that? Drop down in the comments and let me know. And tell me, do you see that maybe Dennis feels the same way? Because if you think about it, after Dennis got with Porsha, his followers jumped like crazy. His business has got more clout. So you could kind of say the same thing about them. I know everybody is loving Dennis right now, but you can kind of say that he had the same motive as well. So I don't know. Dom is definitely team Porsha. You see he was sitting there side-eyeing Dennis the whole time. Y'all see how Dennis' head is sweating? They're like, what's going on? Everybody up there chilling, and Dennis is like dripping in sweat. I was like, can we please get him a fan or something? Because this doesn't make any sense. I was laughing at that. But so they finish up their conversation. Everybody leaves. And then Lauren goes to meet up with Porsha comes to Lauren's room to talk to her. And Lauren actually confronts Porsha. She does hold her accountable for her actions. If you look at Porsha's face, she is shocked that Lauren is standing up to her. So they discuss Porsha not doing the work. Porsha doesn't see it. I think she genuinely does not see it. I am definitely seeing how narcissistic Porsha is with this show. I mean, wow. But Lauren does hold her accountable because Porsha wants to discuss Mama Gina and put the blame all on her. And Lauren points out to her, you need to look at yourself too. And I've noticed Porsha is not able to do that. It's all me, 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 me. What did they do? Why are they not accommodating me? And she does need to work on that. I hate to say it, but she's spoiled. She is very spoiled. Look at her face. She is shocked that Lauren is not on Team Porsha and just standing by her and taking her side of things. But sometimes you need that person to do that. And I noticed something else. So I didn't get a good picture of this, but she started crying and she said that she didn't want PJ to have a threshold relationship. And she talked about her mom never walked into her dad and Lauren's mom's house. And I feel like Porsha was using that. She was kind of manipulating Lauren. I feel like that's a go-to for her when she's not getting her way or someone is not agreeing with her. Because I think Lauren probably feels guilty that she had their dad full time and Porsha did not. So I do believe that Porsha weaponizes that when an argument is not going her way, because she pulled the tears out, but Lauren still stood her ground. They had a brief argument, but they did come together at the end and hug it out. And, Lauren told her, "You're my best friend. I'm always going to be there for you." So tell me, what do y'all think? Do you think that Porsha weaponizes the fact that Lauren had her dad there and she didn't, when she wants to shut down an argument? I feel like she does, but I don't know. It's hard to say. But drop down in the comments and let me know your thoughts on that. So after this, everybody splits up into their groups. We have Dom, Lauren, Dennis, and Londi. They are going to a tequila factory or a tequila excursion. So they're going to be tasting tequila. So this is the group that gets a little messy. I feel like these are all Porsha's friends, Porsha's family, Porsha's friends, but they sat around the table and they tore her down. I mean, from Londi saying that Porsha is her cousin, but they were never friends. I'm confused. I'm like, okay, so if they're not that close, why did Porsha bring Londi on the show? Like, I don't understand that. Like, what's up with that? I mean, if you have family that you don't really mess with like that, would you bring them on the show with you? And then she says later that she used to be Porsha's assistant, and then she was Dennis's assistant, and then Dennis cut her hours and fired her all of a sudden, and Dennis says that Porsha told him to. So I'm like, okay, this is a messy relationship anyway. Why bring her on the show also? I was very confused. So on the way, they decided to do a reenactment of Darlene and Storm's little screaming session on the last episode. That was kind of funny. And then as the tequila is flowing, they decided to play Truth or Dare. And Dom and Dennis, they don't really get into it, but they talk about the fact that Dom spilled the tea on Dennis hiring the girl that he actually cheated on Porsha with. So he saw her at crew one night and actually told Porsha, and that led to them breaking up the second time. And this is actually what's going to lead to the fight later in the show. So it seemed cool when they talked about it here, but again, at the dinner that night, it went down and got very, very messy. So they discussed it and they joked about it. Dom told him he needed to take accountability for his part in it. And it seemed like they were cool. They moved on. And then Lauren, Porsha's assistant, says that she feels like Porsha doesn't address her issues. She sweeps things under the rug, which, yeah, I see that. But still, again, you're with her baby daddy and everybody is taking their turn going in on Porsha. So then Dennis asked Londi, why does Porsha treat her so bad? Londi says it's because she doesn't kiss Porsha's butt and that she's very blunt. Then they start talking about Storm. And what I find interesting is that Londi says that Storm stopped coming around when Dennis started dating Porsha because she said she didn't F with him. So I was like, Then Dennis, in his confessional, he says that he's been with Porsha for 5 years and Storm never came around like that. I thought that was interesting because if y'all remember, they didn't start filming together for Real Housewives until 2018. Supposedly they started dating in 2018. But if they've been together for 5 years, they were actually dating before she brought him on the show. So it just shows a little bit more how some of these storylines are very contrived, which we knew that, but it brings it to light even more. So after we watch the tequila group, they show us Aunt Liz and Mama Gina went to the spa together. So we get a glimpse of them. They didn't really show much of that, but we get a glimpse of them at the spa together. Then we get to see Porsha's group. So Porsha, Simon, Lauren, and Storm went ATV riding. And that was a fun one. They didn't really show much because it wasn't very messy. It was a fun little outing, but it wasn't very messy. The one thing that did happen, let's see, Storm was nervous about the ATVing. Porsha was on hers high speed. Everybody else was a little bit slower. Porsha did have an accident. I don't know if she broke a nail or what. I couldn't tell what happened. But she had a little accident. And while she was sitting there getting fixed up, her finger was hurt. Storm told her that her boobs looked nice in the dress. And did y'all notice Simon trying to cover her up? I was like, I don't think he really likes Porsha showing herself off like that. It was so funny. I was like, look at Simon over there trying to cover Porsha. And that was really all that they showed of Porsha and Simon's group. So really, the bulk of the episode was about Dennis and Londi and that crew hanging out. So I don't know. So then we get to dinner. So everybody starts arriving for the dinner party. And of course, we know in Housewives fashion, when they do a dinner, something goes down. But I was kind of disappointed with this one, this fight at the end. So at the beginning, everybody's cordial. Everybody's sitting down, having a good time. And then so Porsha asked how the day went, how everybody enjoyed their excursions. And Dom starts talking about the Truth or Dare game that they played. And Porsha wants to know what exactly it was. So her assistant, Lauren, tells her about Dennis and Dom getting into it, about Dom telling Porsha about the girl he cheated on working at Crew. From there, Mama Gina tries to shut it down. She's tired of hearing about old stuff. She doesn't want to be brought up anymore. Dom gets a little defensive about that. Dennis is like, let's shut it down. We don't need to talk about that. Why is he worried about my penis? I was like, oh my goodness. So you can kind of see it escalating there, but it's low key, but it's still starting to escalate. So then Storm puts her 2 cents in, and once again, Dennis is like, Storm, shut the F up. So then Porsha in her confessional says that she let it slide when he said that to her the other night, but she's getting really tired of him talking to her cousin that way. And look at Aunt Liz. You can tell she saw that it was about to go down. So then, and we discussed the whole fight thing on the other video. You can take a look at that. So I'm not going to really go into all of that. But then Porsha gets up from the table, goes over to security, tells them to get out, tells Dennis and his mama and his sluts need to go. They got to go. Simon is in the confessional saying, actually, while everything was escalating, Simon was in his food. I guess that food was good because he was chomping down. Then he's in the confessional saying that he doesn't think that Porsha still wants Dennis, but he thinks that she has resentment and she needs to figure out how to get past that, which is, I think she's still, I go back and forth. Sometimes it seems like she still wants him. What do y'all think? But it could be she feels like he played her and embarrassed her, and she's still angry about all of it, and she's not letting that anger go. So, you know how they always say there's a thin line between love and hate. So then we get into this messy altercation that I guess we'll see what really happened last week. I read a lot of y'all comments. People were going back and forth about what really happened, if Mama Gina was really in that circle. I don't know. Some people say they know that she was there. Some people say no. I guess we'll see next week when they show us another angle. It's hard to say at this point. I just really hate that Porsha is being associated with another violent episode. I mean, I don't like that, even though from my perspective, it does look that Dennis lunged at her first. I don't know why, though. I don't know why. I don't know what happened. But I just don't like that this is where she's going. I felt like she had turned a corner with her activism last summer. But then we get the Bolo mess. Then, boom, right after that, the mess with her being with Simon after Fallon being brought on the show as her friend. I don't know if this is production. I don't know what's going on here, but it's not a good look. It's like scandal after scandal after scandal. And I feel like she just needed to take a step back, just chill out for a little bit, because I found something interesting. When she did that she did Watch What Happens Live with Andy, and they were talking about Giselle, and she said one thing she admired about Giselle was that the show is the show, but she doesn't let it get to her because she knows what the truth is. So I'm like, are y'all putting on a show for the cameras? Because is it worth it? Is a check worth your reputation being marred like this? And you can say, yeah, you don't care what people on the internet think. You know what the real is. But I don't know. Some of this stuff, production will push and push and push to get a storyline. And then relationships get messed up in real life. And sweet, beautiful little Pilar does not need her parents going at it with each other. That is the main thing that bothers me about this. That little girl does not need to be in the middle of this. And I really hate that because I felt like Porsha and Dennis had such a great co-parenting relationship. And I feel like that's just being torn apart with this show. So I hope she takes a step back and really thinks about, is it worth it? One thing I did think was funny, going back to the fight, Aunt Liz, she told Lauren, she was like, spiritual leader, you best be leading. She's been on Lauren's head the whole time about, if you're going to do this spiritual leader thing, you're going to do it right. But did y'all notice Aunt Liz's shady little comment about, she was in the midst of things, she told Mama Gina, I'm going to take you to meet the real Hosea Williams family. I was like, oh, no, she didn't. So Lauren, Londi, and Porsha are not the real Hosea Williams family. I was like, okay, ouch. But we know how, like, do y'all watch the show Our Kind of People? And you know the sister that was at Martha's Vineyard, how she looks down on Yaya. I can't think of her character. I just started watching the show. My sister just put me on to it, so I don't know the character. And I know Papa Pope is on there. He's great on there. But you know how they look down on Yaya, like she wasn't good enough. And Londi said that Porsha's side of the family was country bumpkins. I kind of feel like they look down on them like, y'all aren't fit for Hosea Williams' legacy. I don't like that, but then I don't like the way that I don't like some of the things that Porsha's done, how she's represented. So it's sticky, it's difficult, it's hard. Drop down in the comments and tell me what you think. That's it for this episode. I guess we'll tune in next week and see what happens and go from there. Oh, here's my other thought. So at first this was supposed to be only like 3 or 4 episodes. Now we're on episode 5 and who knows when it's ending. Do y'all think this is storyline? Because now we have a story arc. Because now we get all this confusion in Mexico, but it has to go somewhere. There has to be some resolve when this show ends, right? So are we going to get to the end of the season and everybody comes together? Or after this big fight, they decide that they need to be adults about it? So that's what I'm wondering too, because I thought, I was like, okay, are we having a storyline, a story arc, or was this really organic? And that's what I go back and forth, because we know our reality TV isn't completely real. We know there's some not really scripted, but set up in a way scenes. So that's what I'm wondering. What are your thoughts? Thank you for listening. Drop down and tell me, and I'll check in with you next time. Good night.